This is your daily market recap for Monday, August 1st, 2022. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Monday, August 1st, 2022. Let's get into it. Well, another great day in the market trading. Again, we're expecting some choppiness. We're expecting the market to hold up in the next couple of days as new money comes into the market as usual for the first of the month. Again, please be careful. There is a short lining up, but that does not mean you need to be aggressively bullish or bearish at the moment. Layer into trades. We'll talk about that more as we get into it. Again, this channel is built for what? Traders who have experience, who just seem to not be able to be consistent. That is the goal here, is to be consistent, to win all the time, meaning all the time do what the market is doing. That's what we always say. So if you have any questions, the link for this Discord room is in the description below. That's always the best place to start with. I appreciate any support, like, subscribing. I guarantee it is well worth doing such. If you don't, please tell me why. Give me feedback if you think the channel is not worth it. I appreciate all the love and support, and let's get into it. Bitcoin. Come on. Go on, little buddy. Oh, you're not going to show all my drawings? Oh, there we go. All right. You got a little slightly higher high, but backing off. As we said, we need to get away from this range in green so you can get up to the next primary trend line at near 29,000. At this point, again, raise your stops. Do not turn this into a loss. If Bitcoin starts going crazy down, do not write it down to 10,000 or 15,000 or wherever you think it's going to go. I mean, personally, I think if it does connect down, it's going to be somewhere in this 12 to what was it? High? I mean, you might be able to 12 to 15,000. It's a wide range, but that seems very possible. Oil, congratulations if you played the pop in XOP and Gush today. As we talked about, what have we talked about? Oil's going to be choppy and sloppy before the market drops. It seems to be holding this 94 level. Say it over and over. Support equals resistance. Again, I don't think it ends just yet. I know the data is getting weaker. I know that, but I think some money is going to pile into this stuff because of geopolitical tensions. That to me would be probably the better short. But again, shorting right here and not getting follow through, it's telling you something. Just be on red alert. Be on absolute red alert. Know your levels. Okay, we'll talk about the USO and those names shortly. TLT, what did we tell you, folks? What did we say? Said last week's pullback, volume was crap. Said sometimes when you get out of the channel, that's usually the bottom. Well, here was the first bottom, slightly lower bottom. Head and shoulders, we talked about this, just ride this one out. TLT is a slow mover. If you had options, hopefully you had longer dated, or you're just playing the stock. It's really that simple. Congrats if you played the triple leveraged ETFs. I hope those are doing well. But that has been by far the easiest trade to hold overnight. Hopefully people see why. Makes sense. Again, deflation, CPI, backwards looking, all this crap. You know, the jobs numbers are starting to worsen. The economy is starting to turn over and be more obvious. So, of course, bonds do what? Start turning up. Meaning, or yields start turning down, bond prices go up, TLT goes higher. The dollar, said it 1,000 times. I'm going to say it 1,001. Not surprised. Got tired up in the 29th. It's all massive resistance. I mean, it's like dollar parity and a few other currency crosses. But what did we say? Watch for the support in the 28ths. And here we are. Man, that's a tight little doji on volume. Keep that in mind. I say this, maybe this needs to be said 1,000th one time. The dollar dies on a blaze of glory going higher. If you do believe the dollar is done. It does not die just on a smash. Everyone's going to hate the dollar and it's going to go much higher and then it'll go lower. It's that simple. If you don't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. Go study the past. Oh, the good old VIX. What did we say? Watch this back test of maybe down to 20, but watch. Oh, we need the market to go higher and the VIX to hold up. I sense we got a little bit of that. Maybe not really today, but guess what? What have we talked about? Don't be surprised to chop. Chop around the first of the month. Remember, that was going to be the bottom and top. Here you go, first of the month. Trend line. Here you go, first of the month. I mean, if you have missed this, I've been talking about this literally for weeks. Maybe I've said this 1,000 times. This was all going to come down here. Well, now what? All right, well, if you want to start layering into shorts, I get it. I'm just not in the rush. I think, personally, it ends up being something like this. It's just going to be some choppy noise. And maybe the VIX doesn't get back down to 21, but at least the market probably holds up. And so if that's the case, what have we said? Speaking of SPY, watch this blue zone. Could get anywhere up in here. Now everyone's like, oh, the 100-day has to crash. I don't really believe that. We noticed someone was talking about this, some anomalies on Friday. I mean, yeah, that's a major anomaly. Tight action. Remember, I'm on Mountain Standard Time. Tight action, small candle. That's definitely distribution. Now, does that mean it has to immediately smash? No, that's not how it works. Not always. Don't surprise. Novice gap and chop, right? Like chop up here. I mean, you can start layering in. I just don't do it at the lows, please, for the love of God. And don't be surprised if it takes a week, 10 days, 3 days. I don't know. Here we go. What have I said about QQQ? It's probably going to get up into this 315, maybe 320 area. I'd love to see this, and this is me being the type of person who just loves to see like the ultimate traps. Come on, let me draw it. Like just I want to see max pain. I want to see people, and not you, my friend, but I'm talking about like the dumb traders out there. Don't know what's going on. I want to see them all plow back into Qs and run up, break out of this channel, and then boom, fail. Because if not, it could go sideways, which sideways is slow and boring. Now what? Now again, if you want to start layering into your SQQ and all that stuff, please do it at the highs. Do not do it at the lows, the close of the day. Someone was talking about adding to it, and it's like, I mean, again, I think it's the right trade, but I just don't know if I would do it right this second. We talked about in April when we reshorted, when we added a huge short to the Qs. It was on this day. Look, light volume, we tested the 100, 200 day. I was like, all right, well, maybe it's a lower high. Maybe it goes a little higher. I could see up here. Man, we mashed the crap out of that. And then look what happened. Down day and then a gap, professional gap. It was game over. That's to me the best way to do it. Here's another top. Again, like a little bit of a retest, a lower high, and then a bounce. Boom. Goodbye. Think about where we're at in the cycle. We're still trying to like iron out the high. Now keep in mind, like this is the novice gap. We talked about it. Okay? But what now? Well, could it be a novice gap? And like, look at this, choppy action. Do you see why it's one of those things where get in near the highs if you're going to short and be patient? This is so hard to pick tops and bottoms, and I'm trying to give you the probabilities. Remember, we talked about the bottom here, and then you got these retests. People are like, oh, you're buying, you're crazy. In June, we're like, dude, this is a professional gap. Here you go. It got a little choppy, but eventually we got to where we were going. We're not surprised. We were bullish the whole time because we said, what? Bear market rally. It was set up. It happened. Now what? Now we're looking to short. So keep in mind, it can take time. IWM, we're hitting our resistance. Remember, talked about in the 187s. Maybe get up to 190s. I don't know. Just let it breathe. Remember, the IWM needs a top first. It looking like it's going to. Gold, I said 166. Posted this in Twitter. If you're not following me, please. I am posting this in StockTwits, and Twitter said somewhere in this 166 range. Now everyone's saying, oh, it's a doji. Well, keep in mind, gold trades a ton after hours. I'm not really too concerned about it at the moment. What I would like to see is just some continuation. That's all it is. Now, 166, I've said this a million times. I don't think it's going to break out. I think we need to consolidate. We probably need a retest. Or no, not probably. We always retest. Like, look at gold past. Retest, double. Like, I mean, it's literally the double bottom, bro. The king. Double bottom, double bottom, double bottom of the double bottom. Like, you ever seen that? I mean, it's like this crazy looking formation, like the double bottom of the double bottom. I remember that in December. Go watch the video why gold is stuck from December 15th. It's literally pretty interesting. So if this is the bottom, do you not think a retest is coming or some sort of lower low? I think so. Let's talk about silver for a second. A lot of people getting excited about it. I don't see the volume off the lows. I personally have said somewhere around 19 is probably going to be your peak. Now people are like, oh, but silver's so cheap. Yes, we all know, but when is the best time to buy it? Do I need to do this one for the 1 billionth time? Yes. Okay, the best time to buy it is on a smash in a bear market. The first time they admit, or when the feds admit they're wrong and start cutting, which they call a pivot. We are not there, for the love of God. Anybody who says we're at the pivot point, no, that's not going to happen until oil's probably dramatically lower. The economy's GDP is significantly lower. And what? Inflation subsides near term. Again, here you go. COVID. Swink. Everything else in silver is crap. Crap. But you can buy it. I mean, buy the physical. Buy that cheap. Try to get the premium as low as possible. All right. I hope that's simple. I mean, I just feel like a broken record. So many people pump. Wall Street silver. Maybe that's our tell when silver's bottom. They quit posting. Someone take a note of that. Let's talk about that in the Discord room, because that could be literally the funniest thing ever. What? Wall Street silver, whatever. Wall Street bets silver goes out of business, stops pumping, then silver goes higher. GDX talked about probably popping up. Man, it doesn't look that good, folks. I know, because Newmont's holding it back. No, don't own it. We talked about GDX looking 1,000 times better, getting over the 20-day, showing a little volume. Still thinking it get into the 35 range. I mean, it looks way better. Way better. And that tells you a lot, because if the junior miners are outperforming the seniors by a ton, something's wrong here. And again, let's get into why. AG, I like the stock. I like it a lot, but not long term. Not now. I mean, I think it's going to get in the 5 or 6s. Not now. Just long term at some point. But we need significantly lower prices. We need the market to get smoked. AEM, I do like this. We talked about there's volume down here. Sneaky volume. Sneaky volume. You can see it. You had some earlier, and now you're backing up. I'm telling you, set your alarms for sub 40 again. If it gets there, I think you might have... It might be the rain dance. Make it rain. Like, time to buy it. Because this thing is significantly... clearly undervalued if the volume is coming in at the low. Notice that versus the other ones, you know? Newmont, where are you, Numi? Talked about this. Don't buy it. Somebody, I know somebody clearly bought it, but I'm saying, just wait. Said what? The trend line 43, 44. I mean, maybe you get down to the 41. This needs a bottom before I can trust any gold miner. I mean, this is the leader in the sector. Imagine if Google, Apple, Amazon, whatever, isn't acting right. You got problems. NFGC, we talked about this. I like this long term. Gladly, it's popped 10% since I'm just not going to touch it. Shh. Come on today, Junior. Man, more than 10% actually. 366 up to, wow, that's a big move. 450, awesome. If you bought it, again, you need more volume. This isn't conviction. I just talked about it. Whatever. Letter X posted this today. Said, now if you are getting to the point where you've owned this in the 16s, you're up into the 24s, your upside max is 25. I personally would what? Start layering out. Raise your stops. It's a lot of green candles in a row. I wouldn't be surprised if it backed up. Nucor talked about this one. Shook us out before it went. Nice little shake and bake and then went higher. I would, again, you're getting to the point where if you bought this at the 100s, low 100s, and you're up 30%, please take your profits before the market takes them from you. Again, the more you're up, the less you own. Like, that just has to be a mantra you live by, because if not, you got problems, folks. VALE, I like it down here in the 11 range. Fill this gap. Other than that, no. No. Could not touch. No touch. I always joke, like, no touchy. No touch. You just got to leave it alone. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, if there's no swearing, there's no need to be mean about it. I like it, but just no touch, okay? Gosh, CCJ, man, I love uranium long term. Trust me, I'm not on the bus. I mean, I agree, I'm on the bus long term, but I'm not on the short bus to get crushed, because I think that's what's going to happen to CCJ first. We talked about great news and it pops on volume, and then it gives it right back. This has happened half a bazillion times, it seems like, over the last couple months. Long term, fine. I still think you're going to see it in the 16, 15, maybe 18 range. CCJ, again, wait. When's the best time to buy it? When the Fed pivots. We are not at the Fed pivot. The Fed just raised 75 basis points. Oil's still near the high. Do you get that? Like, anyone who's just buying uranium blindly and they're saying, well, you got to hold it. It's okay if it pulls back 40%. And then they say 40%, and everybody's like, yeah, it's okay. And it's like, no, it's not, because what happens if this company is a fraud, goes bankrupt, does something stupidly wrong, and then it goes to zero. Oops, you did it again. You held a loser, and it paid, and it made you pay the price. That's what always happens. That's why I'm just like, no, never. Arrow, talked about this one bouncing $8 to $10. Nice, you're up into our 10 range. Probably take some profit. Mosaic, they had earnings after hours. Let's see where they're at. It looks like kind of flat. I don't know if they, maybe they might not be reporting till a little later. What we've said about this thing, we like it, but it doesn't have the volume. Probably going to come back. Again, watching the 40s. CF, to me, looks like a much better chart. We've talked about this a bazillion times because look at this. Someone had the stopping power. Then you retest it, and we're like, zink! Again, a little better than Mosaic. I mean, the whole sector is popping. Keep that in mind. That's just how it works. Now what? Leave it alone, the 100-day. Clearly. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust these names, but I do think there could be chop and pop this week. It's just that simple. AMD, you're welcome if you listened and you said, all right, Dan said mid-90s. Well, look, you got a little upgrade from Susquehanna. Yeehaw! And look, you mean maybe you get into the hundos. Maybe you get up in there. Now you're gone. Don't turn this into an investment. This is a bear market. It's a trader's market. I swear I'm going to hear people be like, well, I bought it at 70s. I'm just going to let it ride. It's going to 130. Same like the idiots who are talking about Tesla. We'll get into it in a second. Semis. 240s, y'all. We talked about it. That's probably going to be your upside. Now what? Pray it gets to the 250s if you're not short. I mean, you can see it up here. This little zone right here, high volume, low, loves to retest. Maybe it gets up there, but the volume is starting to die. I mean, it was pretty crappy the whole way up, and that's why, again, bear market rally. We don't trust this. Do not turn your great trade into an investment. IBM, this one kicked us out, and people who held, high five. Nice work. I mean, we talked about how to hold, like when this day it made a higher low, it was like, maybe it could go higher. And keep in mind, what have we said about this thing? It did really well when the market was crashing. From November to now, the market's been crap. This thing is actually up. That says a lot. Hello? It says a lot. What do we say? Maybe this turns into the check formation, meaning checkmate, bears. Oh, Jesus. What does he have to do with trading? Maybe it looks like this. Let me swoosh this for y'all. Just do it. Maybe it turns into that. Let me open this up. This is a little narrow. How about that? You get what I'm saying here anyway? That's what possibly could happen. You never know. I mean, repeating patterns. Whew. Breathe, Dan. Breathe. Apple, the fruit. I think they're going to do 4 40-year bonds tranches or something crazy today to buy back stock, support the company. Buy back stock. Great. What a sloppy chart. What have we said? Probably could get into the 160s. Let me clean up some of these. Let me clean this up for you. I apologize. Get Mighty Maid to come in and clean this up. We talked about what? Posted this today. I would not be surprised if this high volume candle and just this whole area could be resistance. Talk about it here and then went slightly higher. Well, let's expand. Like, look at this candle here. Look at these volumes here. There's some volume here. You can see it in here. There's some volume to lock. Market makers, liquidity seeking machine. Give me all your liquidity before you go higher. I need it. Now I need to sell to you at the highs. That's what they do, man. They're just going to they're going to get you to buy high and sell low. That's what they do every time. They terminate you. You get terminated. Do you not realize the Terminator is always chasing you if you're doing what the market is not doing? Meta, interesting again, 3-day range. Now you know if it breaks 155, short the ever-living crap out of it. If it holds and it continues, it keeps popping. It's interesting action. Because you could make an argument. It could be like just this quick pop up. I mean, I've got that. Let me make sure I have that. Because you can kind of watch this 3-day range and say, if you get back over 162, it probably should pop. But it'll be sloppy, choppy. It's the market. Remember, new money came in this month. We don't know. Roadblocks, you're welcome. Said if you got over 42s, it's time to go. Well, if you listened and you bought, time to go. It went. Now we're still projecting the 50 price. Good luck. I still think it can get up into here. Let me just... This would probably be the highest it gets, 53. There you go. That's where I would project it to. Hope that helps. Tesla. Oh my God. So many silly people telling me today that this is going to 1,000 plus, and it's like, well, look at that action today. You bought the hype over the weekend, and it literally opened at the high, or opened, close, went rallying up to the 50% fib, and then bam, like Chef Emerald, close at the lows. Now that is an ugly freaking candle. Keep that in your radar. I said the 200-day is probably your max upside. Well, guess what? Of course, higher volatility. You can chop and flop the higher prices. This could be an absolute bearish signal, but I would prefer, me being greedy and not in the trade, I'd love to see one more retest. Show me your tots. Like, show me, what was it? Tesla, let's put the price down. What was it? 935. Show me 935 again. I mean, that would be ideal. I remember we've told you that sometimes the best trades do what? They retest. And the only reason why these really didn't retest is because they were pretty straight line moves. Like, this has a, I mean, it has a very, what do we call, repeating pattern of blowouts. I don't know if that's the blowout, because I feel like you could have more amplitude, if that makes sense. Keep an eye on it, because look at that top during the first of the month of April, top during the 1st of January, top during the 1st of November. Are we seeing a pattern here? I think we are. First of the month is when you need to be putting Tesla onto your radar. Yeah, you see it. Now again, today could be the top. We don't know that. And maybe I miss it, but I will gladly just wait and see what happens. But man, I really got some really stupid people asking me about Tesla to buy it. They're going targets of 1,350, 1,100, 1,250, 2,000. I'm like, folks, this thing just went up 50%, and now you're up in your targets. They're literally like feeding you to just continue to hold. It's got to go higher. It's got to go higher. It's got to go higher. That's the problem with the market, with the news. Once you start believing your own crap and you don't think you can lose, I can guarantee the loss is coming. Literally. I mean, it's almost like clockwork. 3, 2, 1. Fail. EXPI, hey, own this stock. It's like a free option, honestly. I just don't. Just is what it is. I mean, I've said a bazillion times, if you bought it here at the lows, 10, 11, whatever, maybe you could rip higher. And again, we talk about this as an example of fundamentals. If fundamentals mattered, the stock wouldn't be at 15. It'd be closer to 90. So whenever you think you can just hold a stock forever, no. Luckily, I only started getting stock in the 30s. Started getting stock in the 30s. And then now what? It's cut in half. And again, I got it part of working there. I always tell people, like, what do you think about the stock long term? I'm like, pretend it's worthless. Because that's what it'll probably be. You're not going to see 90s again unless something happens. I don't know. But again, we're now the 3rd largest real estate company in the world. Like, what's the ceiling? The 2nd and 1st? How much higher can the stock go? It just doesn't make sense. But whatever, people don't listen. UTHR. I mean, there's a recurring theme that people don't listen to they don't take their medicine, they don't listen, they don't exercise, they don't do the right things a lot. Hope that's a recurring pattern that you notice in people's lives. Is it in your life? Because again, trading will expose it, and expose it in my weaknesses. W bottom, we talked about another W. It said it was going to run. We said it was going to run. We said, here's your bottom. Here's your volume unlocking. It was going to run. We said it was going to run. It ran, right? It ran. Now what? If you did not sell up here, I am going to come to your house and waterboard you. No, I just kidding. I would never do that. It's just the joke that, you should be slapped. Like, again, you had so many great gains and you didn't take profits. Like, that's what worries me about people. And again, we joke about, slapping people around and making jokes about it. But it's like, like the point of saying this is like, if you can't do the right things, like, you can't expect me to tell you when to do it either. You can't expect someone else to come over there and slap you around just to say, hey, wake up, folks, wake up, wake up, trader. Like, what are you doing? Keep in mind, it is going nowhere for the last couple of weeks. That is a big problem. It should be rising with the market. What is it not doing? It's not rising with the market. That's a problem. If you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. Nah, whatever. Oil. All right, said this a billion times. Bought some Gush this morning. We'll talk about it. Not surprised it popped and then it flopped. We've talked about getting up into the 80s. You got up to what, 80 and change. Now what, Dan? And the gap down today. Well, what have we said? I mean, it just seems to be holding the 94 level, right? It seems to be holding. Doji today. I mean, I don't see endless bearishness at the moment. So, or bullishness. I mean, again, I think there's about to be a little more of geopolitical instability. Would not be surprised. Again, this is gonna, look at how long this took. What if it took 3 months? I mean, I don't know. Probably not. Probably about close to there. It's about ripe. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. But I mean, put a USO alarm, 80, right? Just set that thing. Let it marinate. That's what I would do. I think there's a pop. Keep in mind, there's a ton of gaps. After hour stuff. UNG, where are you? I talked about this. Please don't short. And everyone's like, oh, someone this morning was like, oh, what about that short oil and gas trade? I'm like, okay. And look what happened. We talked about like this choppy retest. Here you go. Here's choppy M pattern 2.0. That is big volume and accumulation today to trade up. Maybe the market makers are looking to unload it back up in the 30s. Either way, it does not look bearish. If you're still holding the KOLD, what are you doing? We warned you. It's going to be sloppy, choppy, toppy. That's probably, again, the V bottom or V top. Because what starts playing out here in the psychology of the masses, those who wear the noose around their neck constantly, they're going to argue this is a cup and handle. I can already see it. They're going to say, look at this big cup, and here's your handle. We're going up to 39. We're going up to 100. Whatever, they're going to price it up. Don't do it. Don't be that guy or gal. You know what's going on. XOP, we talked about it gapping down. When it gapped down today and it got down to like 31 area, I said, you know what? Watch this area. I don't think if you can use this as a stop, 29s, but it would look like the 31 area was going to hold. And the only reason why I could see it, let's go to the videotape, is you could see the hourly. We talked about this, buy a little here, buy a little more, and it just kept holding and holding and holding. And people were like, oh, you got to trade the 5-minute chart and the 10, the 1 minute. And I was like, no. It looked very simple. You had a long wick, and then you had retest with lighter volume. And then look what happened. Whee! And then I sold some near the highs. And people were like, why'd you sell them? I'm like, look at the doji. I'm like, come on. Like, what are you looking at? Can't update you every minute. I apologize. But if you're in a trade, watch it. The doji into the close said, you know what? I don't like that tight action. Look at it again. Look at this tight action. Like, nice running. And you're like, well, what about here? Why not? Well, look, now you had a left-right combo. Remember, we've talked about that. If this bar engulfs down, problem. Notice here you have potential a doji, but look at the next candle. Did not engulf this little doji down, right? This thing got eaten and gone. Now, it doesn't mean it can't go right back higher, because I think it probably will. Set your alarms. Again, I'm thinking, man, I think XOP, what did I say? Somewhere in like the mid-140s. Seems very logical. Where does that put the drip? We talked about 17, 16 range. How do you want to handle it? I don't know. ExxonMobil, we talked about this being just crazy. Now look at this nice gap down, but doji. I don't know. You need more information. Again, set your alarm. If ExxonMobil pops into the 99 club, then you got to be careful with it. I think it might be a good short. Anyway, hope this stuff helps. Again, if you have real estate questions and you're not from New Jersey, please reach out. No, I'm just kidding. Some of these, again, we've always said the best place to invest in investment property, single-family housing. I wouldn't go necessarily vacation, second homes yet because of the recession, but single-family housing is going to be needed. I think you pick the right areas in the Sun Belt, places that the demographics are strong. You're good. Keep an eye. Let's just pull through PXD. Said probably going to get up here. They got their earnings soon. EQT. Looks like the Head and Shoulders top. Oh, I got to put that one back up there. 46s. Yep. And FANG, they had earnings, I think, after the close. Let's see how they're doing. Let's see how they do. Oh, look at that. Whoa. Ha, look at that. $7 range, and then it basically flat. All right. Hope this stuff helps. Again, if you have real estate questions, I can help you out. But in general, as I always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. If you are doing a lot of the same mistakes over and over, and you're not willing to change, you're not willing to study, and you think this is somehow some sort of gambling game where you just flip coins and you hope you win. No, we run this like a business. We treat this like a what? a legitimate business to manage risk. And if you can't do that, you should not be trading. You just shouldn't be trading. And people hate to hear that. And I say it all the time. You should not be trading if you cannot manage risk. All right. Talk to you guys and gals later. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.